The CEO of Qatar Airways in his latest interview has confirmed that the airline has started recruiting cabin crew and pilots, and in today's video I will elaborate each and every word from that sentence that is quite popular nowadays on the social media networks. Let's start. The news that Qatar Airways started recruiting again has spread worldwide, and I do believe that everyone who's engaged and watching this video cannot wait to understand what does that mean, because there are a lot of things in his statement. The statement that I'm going to elaborate now lasts for 1 minute, but there are a lot of things which are reason for concern for many. Therefore, stay tuned until the last minute of this video. My name is Julia George, and I used to fly for Qatar Airways for 10 years, where I have resigned from my last work position as a cabin service director, and I'm currently studying Aviation Management Master Program at Wildau Institute of Applied Science in Berlin. And in the meanwhile, I'm also working as a SnoreLab Assistant at Helios Kliniken Schwerin. Let's see the first part of the CEO's statement and let's talk furthermore about it.
To such an extent that you can start growing again?
I'm glad to say that we have already started recruiting again in Qatar Airways, both pilots and cabin crew. But we are giving priority to people that we let go, who has good performance, who have good record, to bring them back into the airline. And we are already doing this.
So a very clear statement over here, which is something that I have been talking for the past year or something. I was very clear in my very first video in which I spoke about the COVID-19 and the current situation is that the airlines, and in this case, it is such a nice thing that a chief executive of an airline is promising to the employees that, you know, guys, we had to let you go. We did not have the business, but now we want you back. Nevertheless, there is something very important that if you're redundant and if you're laid off cabin crew, you must hear this. And if you're a candidate, this is also a great opportunity for you. So he basically said in his statement that people who have a good record and people who have been laid off or redundant will be back. What does that mean, having a good record? In many of my videos, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke to you about the cabin crew assessments on board the aircraft. I spoke to you about how you can progress in your career, in particularly in Qatar Airways, and that video is also available over here on my YouTube channel. You might want to see it. I will leave a link in the description box, because once you watch that video, you will see how the cabin crew managers or how the airline is actually looking into something called productivity in terms of performance of their current cabin crew. This productivity now, it's the most important aspect than ever if you have been redundant or laid off cabin crew. What does it mean, a productivity of a cabin crew? It means all your showing ups for flights. Have you been reporting for flights on time? It means how much you have been reporting sick. What is the tendency for your reporting sick? Because we have to also be very mindful and to know that we have individuals or we have crew who are reporting sick regularly on weekends. This is a trend. We also have crew who are reporting sick whenever there is a New Year, Halloween, festivals. So these are the things that an organization has to keep on track. And I will come to the point on why that is also important. We spoke about the reporting sick. We spoke about going on time for departure or having no show for your flights. The cabin crew assessments on board the aircraft, how much of what you're supposed to do in terms of customer service, safety and first aid you are able to input on your flights, how productive you are. Because remember, Qatar Airways, or I would also take Emirates Airlines and Etihad Airways, their airlines or the work culture of these airlines is not just, it's not the same as in Air France, as in British Airways or perhaps Lufthansa. And you would maybe say they want more from the crew, and I'm not going to go into the politics of what the airline wants. At the end of the day, every airline has their unique standards, service standards with safety and security and with first aid. I'm very sure that all of them are uniting each other when it comes to 100% safety on board the aircrafts. And nevertheless, these in-flight assessments that I have mentioned are crucial, and they will give the reason whether you're going to be going back flying or not. Then we go something called the rules and regulations, the famous rules and regulations. From this point of view and from this perspective, because I was a crew who got 2 times warning letter because I broke the minimum rest 2 times. If I was redundant during this period of time, I might not be called back. Irrespective, I had great assessments. I had also a lot of customer compliments. Yet, if this is taken into consideration, I seriously think that due to breaching the minimum rest policy in Qatar Airways or the rules and regulations, I would not be called back. So therefore, to the redundant and to the laid-off crew, this has been a very clear statement. And I'm going to give another suggestion also over here. If you guys, this is for the redundant and for the laid-off, if you're not sure or you have some concern, I'm very sure you have a contact from your performance manager. Send an email, double check. What are your chances to go back and fly, to get familiarized, to plan your life at the moment? Should you be pursuing another career? Should you be, just knowing what are your hopes and how the things are at the moment? As I'm speaking to you right now, I got 2 messages of crew who were redundant and are being called back. 2 of them are from India and they're joining Qatar Airways very soon. And then this is the statement that I do believe it is also a hope for the new candidates, because if we have certain amount of people from the redundant and from the laid-off crew who are not going to go back, and basically the airline has stated, or the chief executive has stated, guys, just your results have not been satisfactory and we're not going to take you back. This is a great hope for you if you're a candidate and you want to be a new joiner, yet you might pop up a question which is related. I'm a fresher. Again, utilize this time effectively and ensure that you can make that fresher something called an experienced customer service candidate.
As we start ramping up again, we will start recruiting. But what we will do is, when it comes to the head office numbers, we will make sure that we bring efficiencies and not numbers again.
So a very clear message is given over here, and I'm going to connect this to the numbers that I spoke about in my video, when aviation is going to recover back. If you have watched that video, I spoke to you that currently year 2021 is the year where an estimation by the aviation analysis is that we're going to have 2.5 billion passengers flying in 2021. And a very important reminder is that 2019, the year before COVID happened, we had 4.5 billion passengers. So you also must know that 2021 is the year where that number is not going to be reached until 4.5 billion. Therefore, we cannot expect the new recruitments to start now as I'm speaking, but in future, that is a possible scenario. And again, I'm emphasizing, I'm very sure I've stated this a few months ago that Qatar Airways is going to be the first airline who's going to be announcing recruitments, first airline in the Middle East out of Etihad and Emirates, because just their strategy and how they're working during this pandemic is remarkable. And as an aviation management master student, I'm taking a closer look to that. I'm also part of the German Aviation Association group. Therefore, there are a lot of data out there which is available to us, and which also proves that at this time, Qatar Airways indeed does a remarkable management during the COVID crisis. The CEO also mentioned that the office jobs actually might be in danger, and he also put an important point in which he said efficiency, because COVID-19 is raising new standards when it comes to efficiency. We have learned actually in these irregular circumstances to work more efficient. Yet I'm not going to go into the ground operations and into the management, as this is not a field that I'm specialized in. I'm yet learning about it. Nevertheless, in this field, be ready for those of you that are working perhaps in the office, in the aviation industry. There might be changes out there. Nevertheless, we have a great opportunity to find our place in the aviation industry, wherever that is.
But operationally, ground staff, cabin crew, pilots, engineers, yes, we will start recruiting them. We have already started.
Do not forget the very important sentence that he used right at the end. We will start recruiting them again. They have started recruiting the redundant crew. They have started calling back the redundant crew. And as I mentioned earlier, as we are speaking right now, or I'm speaking to you in this video, I have at the moment the latest 2 messages that I have received from redundant cabin crew going back to Qatar Airways. And this is something that I get informed about every 2 to 3 days. There is somebody texting me, hey, I've been redundant, but I'm flying back. So that is an awesome thing. We are looking at a scenario which is in a form of development. And I'm going to say one more thing over here. An official statement will not be published. We're calling the redundant cabin crew because the passenger number is rising up day by day, and the demand for crew to go and fly is rising up day by day. Yet, do not forget, COVID-19 has taught us unforgettable lessons.
Fantastic
This is what
news.
I promised in the beginning to my staff when I made a statement to them. How sad I was that they built Qatar Airways with us together, and now we have.
And at the end, basically, he confirmed what he said at the beginning when he announced that he has to lay off the cabin crew. And this is the very same thing that I have also shared in my videos. And I have said, guys, you will be redundant, you will be laid off, but don't worry, because I know you're going to go back. And here is what he said. He said that you all guys who have been redundant, you will all, he promised you that you will all be back, with a clear distinction at the beginning of this video on simply a low productivity is not something that can be taken into consideration, which is not only a policy that Qatar Airways is going to be taking and working according with. I think that every airline and every organization, when they're dealing with a certain number of people who are just not satisfactory in terms of results and productivity, will do the very same thing. For the simple reason, at the end of the day, we are talking about a business organization, which is there to grow and which is there to make profit. Coming back to the point of productivity, one last thing before I end this video, and I want to emphasize, is that every reporting sick, every unavailability for a flight causes a huge disturbance in the entire operation in the aviation industry. Why I'm saying huge? Maybe because the aviation industry, unlike other industries, is very much time connected, and over there part of seconds are important. If we delay an entire flight because one crew who is part of the crew complement cannot be there due to late reporting sick, it can cause 300 people to be delayed for that flight. And then later on, if they are not able to catch their connection and they have had this flight delay due to the fault of the airline, that the airline is having huge cost over here. Therefore, this is why I'm connecting this to the important point called business organization. I do have a video which is called How do the recruiters know how many cabin crew they're supposed to recruit? And in that video, I spoke very clearly about the manpower planning system that airlines such as Qatar, Emirates, and Etihad, they have. Do have a look on that video, because this is how you will understand what does it mean, the manpower planning system. And as a cabin crew for an airline, you are an important part and you're playing a huge role in that manpower planning system. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button with the notification bell, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Bye bye and have a nice day.